This is the Trading Psychology Podcast. This is VP, creator of No Nonsense Forex and author of the book No Nonsense Forex Trading Psychology. And with me, as he is most weeks, is Rob Reinhold.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Rob with Maverick Trading and Maverick Currencies. Good to be here, and let's talk trading psychology.
Yeah, so I say most weeks because we did have a couple weeks off. We apologize for that, but it's one of those things where if you're both on vacation and you're both on different time zones and you both have things to do, it's tough to get together and shoot a proper episode the way you want them shot. So I took a couple weeks off, but we are back now. And I think what we need to do off the bat is wrap up the prop trading series, because this is going to be the last podcast of that series. We're going to do that and then move on to the very last subject in the prop trading series, and that is what to do once you've already made it. Once you've already spent some real time inside the prop firm ecosystem, you're good at it, you're maybe about 4 or 5 years in, possibly more, and it's actually becoming a real part of your income. How do you approach this? Because it might not be as obvious as you think. But harkening back to what I was saying before, Rob, let's go ahead and kind of wrap up what we've talked about, because even though it seems like we've really hit these points ad nauseum, I think there's so much of a takeaway for people to glean off of the prop firm series, whether they're joining a prop firm or not, because I think this is the end goal for a lot of people as well. So let's just kind of go through what we've talked about and kind of transition on from there.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And I want to start back to the episode we did on how to know when to go pro. And that was really the start of, okay, there are avenues out there for you to trade with other capital, not just your capital, but other capital. We talked about going on to a professional trading firm, a hedge fund, a family office. We talked about prop trading. We talked about trading for other people. Knowing when to go pro and make that final step, because you've done a whole lot of work up until that point. And you say, okay, now I'm going to start doing this really for other people. And yes, it's going to be good for you, but it's for other people. And I want to make sure that everyone understands exactly when that time is right, is when you have gotten rid of all the psychological mistakes that you're making on your own money. And that's really the time to start looking around and saying, okay, what are the other avenues that are open for me? Can I trade prop? Do I want to go into a hedge fund? How do I want to run my life and grow as a trader? If you haven't watched that episode, I highly recommend go back and listen to that episode to make sure you know when you are ready.
And I'll say too, especially because, and I see so many subscribers make this very mistake, or else they made it in the past, is they purposely go the route that puts a lot of restrictions on their trading. Might not be the best way to go early on. You should be able to trade at least 100% the way you want to trade, if not close to it, as your first professional jaunt. And then if other avenues look good and you're comfortable with those restrictions, maybe at that point, after you've already gotten your feet wet, after you've already gotten those inevitable psychological mistakes from being a pro out of the way, then start playing the game on a harder mode. Trading the way you want to trade early on is a huge advantage, and then you can start going kind of broad to narrow more so down the line. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree 100%. And we covered this in our green flags and red flags episode. And one of the green flags / red flags was, will the firm allow you to trade the way you want to trade? When you have these restrictions placed on you that make it very difficult for you to follow your system, it's really not a good fit. And so I absolutely agree. You want to start out with being able to trade how you want, and then you can start to narrow down into some specialties. We talked about making sure the firm is a good fit for you. And that's what all the green flags and the red flags were about. We talked about, what to avoid as far as a new firm, someone that doesn't have a lot of history, someone who has a history of not paying their traders out. Ultimately, the whole entire series has been about making sure that the prop firm you choose fits you as close as possible. And then that really is going to set you up for some success in the prop trading industry.
Yeah, and above all, this does tie back to psychology, because there's already going to be an extra level of stress and anxiety once you go pro. No matter what we tell you, that's going to exist. Why add to that by choosing a prop. I say this with brokers all the time. Choose a broker platform that you're comfortable with and has good customer service and has a good reputation, because that's just a whole level of anxiety that you don't need to be signing up for. And the same goes for prop trading too. Go with a firm that lets you trade the way you want, supports you, and actually pays out. Because why would you do anything else? That's just going to add a whole other level of stress and anxiety that just simply doesn't need to be there. There's already going to be some. Why add more? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the great thing about success is that once you've done it once, you can recreate it a bunch of times. And so we talked about having multiple sources of income, and we've talked about having multiple prop trading accounts. Once you're successful in one, it's much easier then to go on to the next one and the next one, to where you're now starting to build some really good streams of income. If you're happy with the prop firm you're at, but they don't let you do certain things, go find another prop firm and go through their process, go through their challenges, and get more trading capital. Once you succeed at it once, it's easy to replicate.
Yeah, and I agree with you too on the failure part. If you fail one, that's fine. You should expect to fail, one, two, or maybe a few. I've had people in the comments section say, yeah, I failed a prop firm test 20 times, but I'm still going. I love that tenacity. Now, I would examine, why they keep failing. But once you do find something good, like you said, don't stop. There's no reason to stop. If you can, some is good, more is better. If you want to break out on your own and do some prop trading and then do some of your own trading, you can go that route, or you can just keep using other people's money the entire time. I know people that trade for 4 or 5 different prop firms. It's very possible. And to me, Rob, that kind of transitions into what we're talking about as the theme of this episode. Once you've made it, and once due to just pure experience and success, that you are built for this industry, because you have been a pro for X amount of years. What do you do next? What is your next move? Do you just stop here and just do this forever? Or do you expand into other things? I think expanding into other prop firms does make a lot of sense if you already know you're good at this and you can withstand the psychological hits.
I do like that idea, but I also recognize that everyone is so different. And to just put out a blanket statement would really not cover all the people who are listening to this. So I want to go through with just a couple possible things to think about. First off, the way I'm built and the way my personality is styled is that I don't ever want to retire. The thought of retirement to me is painful and unattractive. I just don't like that thought. So I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop trading. I'm never going to stop doing real estate. I'm never going to stop anything because I really enjoy it. So yes, if you're someone like me that really likes challenges and desires, it never ends. It is exhausting, but it never ends. You can keep going. Some personalities are not like me, and they say, hey, you know what? I'm okay with a certain amount. I don't need more. I don't need to always be striving for more. Then all of a sudden it just comes down to, what do you want and what do you need? And if you say, hey, you know what? I want to be able to make an extra $2 or $3 grand a month trading and I'm happy and that's all I need, then your goal is to get to that point and maintain that level of production. There's so many ways you can go based on what people want and who they are. But yes, if you are a personality like me that wants to constantly achieve and constantly learn new things, just go for it and just keep going until you die.
But I will make a point to that, though, because if anybody who's been trading for any amount of time really understands that no matter how good you are, this industry is very, very inconsistent. So you'll do really well 1 month and then you'll take a negative, or you have a really good 3 months, then you'll take 2 negative months in a row. It's difficult, and you don't, again, everything ties back to psychology here, Rob. You don't want that extra amount of stress in your life. So I would say, whether you're just these, go-get-it alpha personalities like you and I are, or if you're more laid back and your wants and needs are different, I would still say that over time, expanding into other streams of income is a good idea. Anybody who's listened to my Saturday investment podcast knows that no matter how confident I am in one thing, I always have many, many other things just in case that one thing falls apart. And I think it's also a really good idea to do that with your overall career. I've been doing that since the start. I never wanted trading to be the only thing that carried me through. I was either working, or once I got away from that, I started businesses. Then I went into YouTube, all the different avenues that come off of that. I always made sure I had other things just in case I sustained a really rough period in my trading. Because even though I've been doing this for 12, better part of 12 years, almost 13, and I've been professional since 2014, I still have those moments where I'm like, man, I'm really glad I have these other things to take some of the pressure off me when things aren't going that well.
Absolutely true. And prop trading should not be the only thing you do. If that's how you identify as, oh, I'm a prop trader and that's all I do, again, as you said, that's putting a lot of pressure on yourself. This should just be part of your overall life and the way for you to grow your overall net worth. And there might be a point in your life where it no longer serves that purpose and you step away from it. It's really very fluid as far as you growing as a person. And if it fits you, great, find the right one. If not, back out. It's all about growing your overall net worth. It's just one of the things you do.
And maybe you don't know exactly what else you're going to do. Well, one, you're going to have years to figure that out. Two, you already have a skill that is top tier, and it is a skill that other people might be interested in. I can say this firsthand. Now, if you're not somebody who wants to put yourself out there on social media and deal with all the pressure and the ridicule and things like that, I totally understand. But there's a lot of different ways you can go with this skill set that you might not even be aware of. We talked about that a little bit on the podcast, but there's some other ways too.
Absolutely. And one of the things we decided years ago at Maverick was that we were only going to hire from the inside. Whenever we have a need, or we need to add a coach, or we need to add something, we go to our existing traders and say, hey, we know you've been with us, we've seen your track record. Do you have any desire at all to work with other traders as they are learning their process and their system? And it's a great way for them to give back. They've already done it. They're already in the business. And it's now just, they make almost friends with the other traders that we introduce them to. And it's just such a good, positive thing. So absolutely, finding like-minded people that you can help and pull along the way will only make you happier. And you know what? And you can charge for it.
So you will likely have options within your prop firm, but if your prop firm doesn't do things that way, that doesn't mean other firms don't. You can simply say, hey, I've been at this firm for 7 years. These are the type of numbers I pull consistently. Do you have an interest in somebody with my particular set of skills? Chances are they probably do. Like I said, people like that who have put their time in this business and who have done well don't grow on trees. So sometimes it's just a matter of putting yourself out there to other companies. And if they say, no, so what? You're prop trading, you're making money, you're fine. But like I said, over the years, start to build those multiple streams. And I'm telling you, if for any other reason, just the psychology aspect of having so much of that stress melt away and just allowing you to trade exactly the way you want without ever feeling pressure to do anything different.
And you should take all of those income streams and just put money away. I have a theory called making it stick. It's where I take any excess money I have and I make sure I buy an asset. And an asset can be anything. It is gold, silver, art, antique cars, anything you want to do with it. Now, again, an asset is something that goes up in value over time. A couch is not an asset. A TV is not an asset. Like, these things don't go up in value. So you really have to take out your profits of all the source of income that you're making and make it stick, because a lot of people make a lot of money and they buy the wrong things and they're broke at the end of their life. If you simply buy assets throughout your entire life, you're going to end up with a really nice nest egg at some point in the future.
Yeah, I love that. Anybody who listens to my investing podcast knows that I preach this all the time. And, for me, I move around so much. buying certain assets don't make a lot of sense, but I can still buy gold and have it stored other places. I can still buy things like Bitcoin. And I've been doing that, for a long time. And, a lot of people who listen to this podcast also listen to my other podcast, and you've followed me on this journey. And, that peace of mind too, even things that don't go up a whole lot, just having it there and having that protection from, possibly a falling currency or falling on hard times, whatever the case is. Yeah, I co-sign on that 100%, Rob. Doing something like that is not always the most popular move because people want to treat themselves and have nice things. But man, yeah, I don't think you can put a price on that peace of mind.
Totally. And look, there's a balance to life. You just have to find the balance. You have to save some money and you have to live a life that makes you relatively happy. And a lot of times that takes money to do. So just find a good budget, plan it out. One of the things I've told my kids from day one is that every single paycheck you get, every single time you make any money, put some of it away. And, you fully fund your savings account. And once that's full, this is kind of like the Dave Ramsey thing, is you just go down the list like, okay, I'm going to buy, this gold coin. It's going to take me 2 months to save up the money. I'm going to buy this gold coin, and then I'm going to put it in a safety deposit box, or I'm going to hide it under my bed. Whatever you do, now you have it. Like, you have an asset, and that asset can grow over time. And if it doesn't grow over time, you still have the money. Like, you can convert that back into cash if you really need it. So just a really important thing. And I challenge everyone here, if you're young, I really hope if there's one thing you'd listen to me and do for the rest of your life, is this. If you simply, every time you make money, put a little bit of away, like $5 away, $10, $100, whatever it is, and you buy an asset and you do that for your entire life, you're going to have so much money. It's going to be awesome.
Again, you guys know my thoughts on this. Most of you do, at least. Yeah, 100%. While everybody else is focused on things that drop in value and they are so over leveraged, or they're so just wide open to getting crushed by an economic downturn, knowing that probably won't happen to you. Again, you cannot put a price on it. And if you can just hold off on some of those other things for later, that's really the game. I wish I learned that at a good time in my life, I think, but I think we all wish we learned that sooner.
And you call it a game. I literally call it the game of money. And I use that all the time. And I when I talk with my kids, hey, we're going to play the game of money, where you just do this game. It is a game. And if you really look at it the right way, it's simply a game we're all playing, and there's winners and losers, and it's not all that hard. It's a simple concept, but it takes discipline. And the people with the discipline, they win the game.
100%. And I love the game. I mean, I'm obsessed with the gold and silver market, for example, and crypto as well. And so doing things like this aren't a bore. They're not a drain. They're very fun and exciting to me. And I already know I have the patience and discipline. So I know that I have a really good chance to succeed in this game as well. So, like I said, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I got to put this money away into this thing. It can also be very exciting. I agree with you, Rob. Now, so let's see. I think we've covered just about everything. Once you've gotten to that point to where, you're officially good at this and you're almost on cruise control the way you trade, how do you approach that? I think multiple streams of income is really good. I think taking some profits out and putting them into something stable like that is also a really good idea. Do you have any other ones, Rob?
Nope. The only thing I'd say is give back. You know what? There's a lot of people out there that really want this. And remember, when you started out, how much you wanted it. Give back. If you've got the time and you've got the personality, give back. Pull some other people along with you and help them out.
Well, I can check that off my list too, officially, I think, Rob. But
Absolutely.
But thank you. But yeah, I hope we covered everything for you there, traders. This officially ends the Prop Firm series of the Trading Psychology Podcast. We'll be moving on to a lot more exciting things down the road and having a much more consistent schedule down the road as well. So stay tuned, everybody, for every Monday with the Trading Psychology Podcast. Thank you for being patient with us and taking this journey through 27 episodes Here's to 27 more, Rob. We will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.